in the United States for other people who's designing these systems. I've talked to an engineer that designs these systems, and my philosophy is, hey, if I'm giving you 58% or less down there, and you're not processing, I'm saving on your maintenance, your operations, and everything else. Okay, the reason I'm bringing this thing up is because we talk about the glide system here. Somebody told me, said, well, you guys in the STEP system do not have to spend $4,000 in order to put your systems in. Let me give you what the real numbers is. If you go to Glide, they pay $31 a month for their sewer system. When you get ready to apply for one, you've got to pay $4,400. We don't have to do that, we thought. We thought this was a fee. It's not a fee. That $4,000 includes the tank, includes the control system, and includes the pump, and includes everything. Then you have to go out and get a contractor to install it. Over there, it costs roughly $2,000, which means that over there, you're putting about $6,400 out in order to get onto the system by itself. This is what the individual has to put out. So then I did some little research to see what we have to put out here. I talked to Wellnet, who we buy the tanks from, and I talked to an installer, and I had to make the assumption on what the permit fees were. A tank cost us $3,064. To install it, about $3,500. And I'm assuming the permit fees are somewhere around $1,500. That's $8,064. We actually put more money out to put our STEP system in. In Glide, when that $31, that includes everything. The guy, once you get it in, you're done. That $31 includes your pumping. It includes your pump if it goes out. It includes and your inspections and all to meet the DEQ requirements. They inspect 20 per month, and they continually doing that, and that satisfies them with the DEQ. Okay, so with that, if you look at that, and you go back, and right now, I think the city is telling us they want us to pay $55, but they want us to pay for the pumping and the pumps and if a switch goes out and everything else. That means they are more than double dipping us. If you go back and just look at some raw numbers, which I did, and you take and you inspect it every year, you pump it every 5 years if you have to. The DEQ says only if required. That don't mean you have to every 5 years. Because I talked to the DEQ. And then if you figure your inspections, your pump and pumping it, and if you add all that stuff up, divide by all the proper numbers, it turns out to be $16.86 is what it would cost each of the STEP members. And I'm using 81 because we've had numbers from in the 70s, the 81s, and the other night when Roto-Rooter is here, they're telling us 86. So we don't know what the real number is. And by the way, the Roto-Rooter meeting was an excellent meeting. We learned a lot. They were very helpful. So if you look at all these numbers and you say, okay, we should put something less in the sewer system, and I'm using 50% instead of 58% because the engineering data says it can go anywhere from 30% all the way up to 60%. But the actual test that they run over at Renko was part of it over at Glide is 58%. So if you say we spend 58% of their bill, the normal sewer bill, then, and you add the 16 for it, that's only $39 a month. Yet the city wants to bill us $55 a month. Now, I'm assuming the extra $10, and the statement was made by the mayor before that the $10 is for the inspections. As much as I hate to pay out the extra $10, because I think we've already paid out more than what we should have, I'm willing to put out the extra $10 to get our ass out. Sorry about that. To get out of the jam with the DEQ. My $10 a month for 1 year, but only for 1 year, will allow us to get those inspections done, and then our people at our plant should be able to do those inspections. You do not have to break a connection or anything like that in order to do the inspections. I've been there and I've watched them. Therefore, our own people can do those inspections. And if our people can do it, they only have to do 7 a month and get all 81 done. Why should we pay out after the initial $9,000 that we're going to be paying for Roto-Rooter? Now, am I telling you my facts are 100% right? No. But I am telling you, they're pretty darn close to being right. I've talked to a lot of engineers. I've talked to the DEQ. I've talked to Roto-Rooter. I've talked to 2 different engineering companies. And I think I'm pretty close to being right.
I've got the data right here from Elkton. City of Elkton looked up these $3,500. They put their complete system in. I've got it right here from Robert Miller, the engineer for Rental Pump Company, from Glide. Glide's system, after you put the system in, hook up fees $3,750.
That's not what Glide told me.
This is Robert Miller, the engineer. They contract a Rentco to take care of the Glide system. They're working under their umbrella to do their step system checks, the electrical part of it. $3,750. Still, when I went to Glide, this is data from Robert Miller, the engineer over Rentco pumps that handles Glide's pumping. The reason our systems are so screwed up is because they have never been inspected. And the guy from Glide said if you had had these systems inspected from day one, what they were paying extra, and you've only been paying $10 since last July. Before that, it was $6 and something. So you haven't been paying $10, except you were paying less than that till the sewer fee raised. And every EDU with USDA, every person that was hooked to this sewer plant under USDA rules had to pay $45 to the sewer system, whether you had a step on it or whether you had regular sewage. I would just as soon unhook these lines, put 6-inch lines in, and put everybody on the sewer for $45 a month. But the thing of that is, it's cost you several $100,000 to do that.
But we were forced in, at least some of us were forced into the step system, Orville. All I'm telling you is, I did talk to Glide. I know exactly what they told me. So evidently, maybe you and I need to get on the phone with Glide, because even when I talked to a Wrinkle told me that the average cost, total cost for installing a step system is right around $6,000, which substantiates both numbers that I have.
Robert, Phil and I went to Glide. DEQ sent us to Glide. They sent us to Elkton. We had Glide, Elkton, Sutherland, and Winston right here.
Well, what I would suggest, I want to get this thing resolved. I don't want to be being paid double dip, paying the full amount from the sewer, plus have to pay for my pump, my pumping, and everything else. It's my understanding the DEQ requires the city to take ownership of these systems.
They take ownership to make sure they are inspected. And he told me that the 21st, when he called me, he said, I don't care what we have to do to inspect these, because we do not have the funding for it, to inspect these systems. They want every one of them inspected.
We have already agreed, or at least I've agreed, to pay the $10 for a year to inspect them. After that, our own people can inspect them, and it won't cost us $9,000.
No, wait a minute here. Our own people, if the DEQ says, what I was told, and I'm talking DEQ. What DEQ is, we're going to have to prove ourselves to DEQ.
I agree.
They sent this 205 down here in 1996, and I can't go back. None of us can go back. I wish we could. But in 1996, they were supposed to implement ordinance number 205. They didn't do it. So now, we're going to have to prove to them, and there's some other things that the city of Lakeside didn't do that DEQ said do too. I might throw that in, but that's as far as I can go with that. I don't think we're going to be off the hook in 1 year. I think we're going to have to inspect these several years to prove to DEQ that we're a city that's going to make the inspections like they told us to do.
Okay, and one of the statements I made, Orville, is that I'm willing to pay and get this done immediately. And it's going to take you all year to get enough funds from me because I'm paying $10 only a month. At the end of the month, end of the year, I will have paid $120. Robo, the company you've got, Roto-Rooter, said that it will probably take about an hour. Now, some may take more than an hour, some